The morning mist lay thick upon the ancient forest, weaving itself through towering iroko and mahogany trees like wandering spirits reluctant to depart. Dew clung to broad leaves, and the earth beneath was dark and fragrant from the night's cool breath. Chima moved through that forest the way a shadow moves, quiet, deliberate, aware of every tremor in the undergrowth. He had been raised among these trees. He understood their language, the broken twig that spoke of passing antelope, the faint shift in wind that carried the scent of bush pig, the silence that warned of something watching. At 30 reins, Chima was no longer a young hunter seeking glory. He was husband to a days and father to a bright-eyed boy named Ikenna. Responsibility had reshaped his strength into something steadier. Every hunt now carried weight. Every decision meant food or hunger. The dry season had grown cruel. Streams had thinned into muddy ribbons. Herds moved unpredictably. Even the birds seemed restless. Men returned from hunts with empty hands and hollow eyes. Fires burned lower in the evenings. Laughter in the village had softened into worry. The elders gathered beneath the old baobab tree each evening, speaking in low voices about dwindling herds and angry spirits. Mothers stretched soups thin with extra water, pretending fullness so their children would not see fear in their eyes. At night, Chima lay awake listening to Adaeze's breathing beside him, steady but restless, and he felt the quiet pressure of expectation settle on his chest like a stone. Hunger was no longer an occasional visitor. It had become a patient shadow lingering at every doorway. Even laughter among the young men carried a brittle edge, as though joy itself feared it might not last. Yet, Chima held to a principle taught by his father: take only what is needed. The forest was not an enemy to conquer, but a balance to respect. It was on a morning heavy with unnatural silence that he stepped into a clearing he had never seen before. The forest sounds had ceased, not faded, but stopped. No insects hummed, no birds called. And there it stood, an antelope unlike any creature shaped by ordinary earth. Its coat shimmered gold-brown, but the shimmer was not merely light. It seemed alive, like ripples across water at sunset. Its spiral horns curved elegantly toward the sky, etched with markings that shifted when he tried to focus on them. Symbols, perhaps, or warnings. Its eyes were deep and steady, not the frightened eyes of prey, but ancient, knowing. Chima lifted his spear on instinct. Yet something in him resisted. The antelope spoke. "You hesitate, Chima, son of Okoye." The spear slipped from his fingers and struck the earth. No hunter had prepared for this. Fear rooted him, but it was not the fear of danger. It was the fear of standing before something older than fear itself. "I know your hunger," the antelope continued. "I know your restraint. I know your father's teachings." Chima's voice returned in fragments. "What spirit are you?" "I am keeper of balance where men forget." The air thickened around them. "I offer you a covenant," the antelope said. "Hunt only what you need. Do not chase abundance. Do not hunt on sacred days. Do not allow pride to grow in the soil of provision. Keep your heart measured. If you do, your spear will not fail when true need calls. But if you break this promise, the consequences will reach beyond you." Chima thought of Adaeze's tired eyes, of Ikenna's thin wrists, of empty cooking pots. "I swear," he said. The antelope lowered its head once. Then the forest sounds returned as if nothing had happened. From that day forward, Chima's hunts changed. He did not find herds waiting. He did not stumble upon miracles of excess. Instead, each time his family needed food, he found precisely what would sustain them. No more, no less. His spear flew true in moments of necessity. When he hunted without urgency, the forest gave him nothing. Word spread. Men whispered that Chima carried unseen favor. Some admired him, others resented him. Chima shared what he could. When an elder's wife fell ill, he brought meat quietly. When a widow's children cried from hunger, he left portions at her doorway before dawn. He never boasted. Yet, generosity, even when silent, is noticed. Temptation did not arrive as wickedness, it arrived as reason. A traveling merchant entered the village, draped in fine fabrics and speaking of distant markets. He had seen Chima's skill. "You waste your gift," the merchant said. "Hunt beyond this village. I will pay you silver for every hide. There is profit waiting." Chima hesitated. "Even on sacred days?" he asked. The merchant laughed. "Profit does not rest." The words lingered. That night, as moonlight spilled pale across the clearing, the antelope appeared once more. "You considered it," it said. "I did not agree." "But you considered." Chima lowered his head. "This is your first warning." The antelope vanished. Chima refused the merchant the next morning. The man left with a thin smile that did not reach his eyes. The second test came through compassion tangled with pride. A young hunter named Ejike approached Chima in desperation. His father had died. His mother was ill. He lacked skill and discipline. "Teach me," Ejike pleaded. Chima saw himself in the boy and agreed. Training Ejike was harder than any hunt. The boy was impatient, reckless, eager to prove himself. More than once, Chima corrected him sharply. When Ejike succeeded in bringing down small game, pride flared in his eyes. One afternoon, after a successful hunt, Chima divided the meat and pushed the larger share toward Ejike. "Take it," he said. "Your family needs it." Ejike's jaw tightened. "I am not a beggar." "It is not charity." "It feels like it." The fracture formed quietly. Later that night, the antelope appeared again. "You give to feel righteous," it said. "I give because they need it. Search deeper." Chima resisted the accusation, but unease stirred. "This is your second warning." The next day, tension broke between teacher and student. Words sharpened, pride collided with pride. To preserve the balance within his own heart, Chima released Ejike from apprenticeship. The village murmured. Some accused him of selfishness, others said success had changed him. Isolation followed. Adaeze felt it first. Women who once greeted her warmly now turned conversation short. Invitations grew fewer. Ikenna returned from play quieter than before. Chima endured it silently. Then came the final test. A wealthy trader from the coast arrived with polished speech and promises of relocation, prosperity, and freedom from the forest's uncertainty. "You are wasted here," the trader told Chima. "Come with me. Hunt for sport. I will make you rich." Before Chima could answer, Ikenna collapsed with fever. The sickness came swift and merciless. His small body burned through the night. His breathing grew shallow. The healer examined him and spoke with grave gravity. "There is only one cure I know. The heart of a rare golden antelope." The world tilted. It was the same creature. Desperation shattered discipline. Chima ran into the forest, shouting into the clearing. "Show yourself." No answer came. Fear twisted into anger. Had the covenant been a trap? Had obedience only delayed suffering? He chose his son. He hunted not with patience but fury. Days blurred. Hunger and exhaustion gnawed at him. At last, deep within a shadowed grove, the antelope stood waiting. "You came to kill me," it said softly. "My son is dying." "Did you ask for my help?" Silence. "Did you trust our covenant, or did you reach first for violence?" Chima's breath trembled. He had not asked. He had assumed abandonment. "The third warning is spent," the antelope said. "The covenant is broken." Chima fell to his knees. I would give my life. I know. The antelope stepped closer. Light radiated faintly from its form. For the innocence of the child, I will heal him, not because of your spear, but because of mercy. The forest seemed to exhale. Return home. Chema ran. Ikena's fever broke before dawn. Strength returned slowly but surely. Joy filled the hut. Yet, something had shifted. When Chima hunted again, his spear flew as any man's spear flies. Some days it struck true, other days it missed. There were empty returns, there were difficult nights. The blessing was gone, but something unexpected rose in its place. The widow he had fed brought cassava when his stores thinned. The eldest sons repaired his roof during heavy rains. Even Ejike returned, not as apprentice, but as equal. I was wrong, the young man said. You were teaching me more than hunting. Pride softened into humility. Chima began to understand that the covenant had not been about guaranteed provision. It had been about the shaping of his heart. He hunted with effort now, skill sharpened through practice rather than promise. He taught Ikena patience. He taught him gratitude for small catches. He taught him that enough is sacred. When the coastal trader returned, Chima declined calmly. I have all I need. 1 year later, on the anniversary of the broken covenant, Chima walked once more into the clearing. He carried no spear. In his hands was a small wooden carving of an antelope, shaped with care. He placed it at the base of the great tree. For the lessons, he whispered. At the forest's edge, an antelope stood briefly in the shadows, not shimmering, not radiant, simply present. Chima did not reach for a weapon. They regarded one another in stillness, hunter and guardian, man and memory. Then it was gone. That evening, Chima told Adaeze everything. She listened without interruption. When he finished, she held him as tears came, not tears of regret, but of understanding. The blessing had never been the true gift. The lesson was, enough is enough.